and good morning to your Thursday morning yoga practice. Excited to be here. This will be the last class before my biking trip across Florida this year. We're going from St. Pete, which is over there by Tampa, all the way across the state to New Smyrna. Not the long way, the skinny way. So no classes, but there are plenty of recordings for you to do. So enjoy the recordings. Well, as usual, let's settle in. Go ahead and get yourself situated on the mat, arrange your things, find your blocks, find your blankets. We're gonna do a flow practice followed by a little, like more of a yin slow practice at the end to really deeply stretch. So we're gonna do maybe half and half today. So prepare for that. And then when you're ready, go ahead and let your eyes close. Have a pot for your books I grabbed. Let's see. We will randomly open a book. We'll read first and then read together. Paradox. Fear and love seldom stand shoulder to shoulder. It's rare to laugh and lie in the same breath. But strength and weakness, failure and success, faith and desolation, they are different ends of a single stick. To pick one up is to receive both poles. Stark contrasts contribute to a knowledge of the whole. What is life but growing wide and deep? So open from weeping that opposites, ambiguity, and 1,000 shades of gray can coexist without despair. Paradox by Dana Falls. A perfect poem today with the question of can we hold those opposites at the same time? The great suffering of the world, of people we know, right next to the joy of that sunrise, the beauty of fresh snow, the quiet of a still morning. We have the ability to hold it all. Begin to bring awareness to that breath, just noticing it in its natural state in this moment. Is it shallow? Is it deep? And let's go ahead and try to extend the inhale with counting in your mind, just noticing, see if you can increase it by 1 or 2. And then equal the exhale. Slowly counting in your own mind. So for instance, it would be inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Continue quietly in your own mind. So what we might notice with inhale and exhale, initially they might seem like the opposites, the paradox, the two ends of the stick. But what I noticed is it's more circular. maybe you've noticed that in life, that it's all a continuum. And sometimes those two opposites circle back on the back end also to reconnect. From this place of steady breathing, I want you to shift your core, your body back just 2 inches, as if you're clicking back a lounge chair, 1 click back. Just notice what that feels like. Often there's a slight leaning forward when we're in sitting position. Just see if you can click it back. And notice how it changes your perception. Maybe from this place a little further back, you can become the observer. Observer of breath, of sensation, of thought, and feelings. Without getting caught up in any of it. Much as if you were watching a stream go by. Sitting on the side, the banks of a river. Just gently breathing. Maybe it's a bubbling brook, a small stream, or a wide river, whatever visual works for you. My invitation for you today is this becoming the observer of your life, this practice that we're doing here on the mat. See if you can take it into your day. Creating that space, that sitting back, that watching, that slowing down. And now, let us begin our practice. We inhale and exhale. We inhale and exhale. Last one, we inhale and exhale. And with that next breath, we open our eyes and reach our arms to the sky as we yawn those arms up. And exhale, let those hands come down. Leave the left hand where it is, bring the right hand up and over. Doesn't matter which side you picked, give it a nice stretch, keeping that right sits bones on the earth. Open the side body and maybe even look up. One more inhale and reach, and on the exhale, bring that hand down and switch sides. Left hand comes up and over. Stretch, sits bones stay down, and maybe look up. Following the breath. And bring that arm down and around. Walk your hands back, 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 back on your mat. Fingertips point behind you. And open your heart as you look up. Squeezing the shoulder blades together. And maybe even dropping the head back slightly, if that feels good. Breathing into the chest. And then walk it back up. Straighten your legs out in front of you. And And the very first forward fold, situate your sits bones and slowly come on down. Now we're going to do this one here to compare it to the last one later in our practice, but just notice the tightness. Maybe you need to make a deep bend in your knees. I want you to wiggle and stretch. Move your knees up and down. Find your way into this forward fold. Continuing with one breath after another. Maybe nodding your head yes and no. Maybe even circles. Finding that nice stretch. And then coming on back up. Nice tall spine. Bring your knees back up. Let's give ourselves that hug. Bring those heels as close to your bottom as you can. Wrap your arms around and drop your head. Open that space between the shoulder blades. I woke up this morning and that space is super tight, so I'm really opening it up. Slowly lift your head. Again, shake out your head. Let's go ahead and pop this in here. Grab your big toes with your peace fingers. Straighten up that spine. Roll those shoulders back. Balancing on your sits bones. Lift your feet up. It can be right here with shins parallel to the floor. Or maybe you can straighten those legs partially or all the way as you keep the body long and strong from tailbone to the top of the head. And then if you want, you can either gaze at those toes or look up. Drop the elbows, drop the shoulders, stay there. And then set them down, cross the ankles, and roll on over. All fours. Get yourself situated on the mat. And find that undulation. Find the stiff bits. Maybe it's your lower back, upper back. Maybe like me, it's between your shoulder blades. And find the wiggle that makes that feel better. We are our own best medicine. Fantastic. And then we're going to do a little bit of a flow. And then we're going to go back to some more yin practice. Let's start here with a cat and a cow, just three of them. Tailbone up, nose up. And then round the back. One more. And then let's go ahead and come into that first downward dog. Bend the knees, bring belly to thighs, and then pedal out the heels. Wiggling your way into the pose. And then finding some stillness and strength as you hold it. I want you to look up between those thumbs, but we're going to take that right foot and place it on the outside of the right pinky. So on the right edge of the mat. And then put that knee down and reach the right hand up. Put in a little twist there. And then put the right hand back down next to that right foot. pop the left leg up, and we're gonna step the left foot on the outside of the left edge of the mat. And then we're gonna find a forward fold. So slightly wide angled forward fold, drop the head. And then bend the knees so our thighs are parallel with the floor, and come on up for a goddess pose. Turn our toes 45 degrees off the mat. And then we're gonna stand up and make an X, so it looks like this. And then down for 3, 2, and 3. And then forward fold, prayer through the center. Place the hands next to the feet. And then we're gonna step left foot back, right foot back. And now we're gonna put our chaturanga in here, lower down. Inhale that cobra, belly to the earth. And exhale that down dog. So let's do that good. Again, right foot to the top of the mat. Oh, I forgot to twist on the other side. Right hand up, right hand down, left foot up, forward fold, drop the hips, take the toes off the mat, come on up for goddess, 3 times, X, and goddess, lower those hips, X, and goddess, lower those hips, last one, X, and goddess. This time, hands up, feet parallel, forward fold, put the hands back. Now, hold on, I gotta get this right. Leave the left foot and step the right foot back and reach the left hand up. There we go, we did it. Put the twist there. Left hand back down, step back, plank, lower down. Inhale, up dog or cobra, and exhale, down dog. All right, we're gonna do that whole flow since we went to the trouble of learning it a couple more times. So, right foot outside of the right foot. Find the twist. Right hand back down, left foot up. Forward fold. Really bringing the upper body through the legs. Bend the knees, hips back, knees over ankles, toes off the mat. Goddess. And we go up for 1. Squat. 2. Squat. 3. Toes back parallel, hands to prayer, forward fold. Right foot back, left hand up, find the twist on that side. Left hand down, left foot back, find your plank. Lower down, up dog, and down dog. Again, right foot to the right side, find the twist. Hand down, left foot up, forward fold. Lower the hips, toes off the mat. Goddess, find the X. I'm here. Goddess, I'm here. Goddess, I'm here. Feet back parallel, hands together. Forward fold again. This time right foot back, left hand up, left hand down, left foot back, plank, chaturanga, up dog, down dog. Again, last one, right foot to the edge of the mat. Find the twist. Right hand down, left foot, edge of the mat. Find the forward fold. Lower the hips. Goddess, X, goddess, X, goddess, X. Hands together, feet parallel. Forward fold. Right foot back, left hand up. Last twist there. Left hand down, right foot back. Plank. Invitation to do some push-ups. like 3 to 5 if you want yogic push-ups. And then come to cobra, or up dog and down dog. Those push-ups were to build a little heat on a cold day. We're still in winter. Resting in down dog. Coming back to that breath. From here, let's reach the right foot to the sky. Bend that right knee, open that hip. And if you want to flip it, go ahead. Meaning drop that right foot back and reach that hand up and over for wild thing. And then you can come back to three-legged dog. And then bring that right foot all the way up between the hands this time. Turn the left heel down. We'll do a simple little warrior series. Warrior one. Three breaths. Strong legs. Check your own positioning. Warrior two. Strong legs. Lower the hips. Look out over that right middle finger. Drop the shoulders. Let's do side angle. I don't think we've done that in a while. Drop the right hand. I'm going to put it behind my right leg and reach my left hand up and over so I can really open this chest. Feel free to use a block. Come on back to warrior two. Turn to warrior one. And then dropping the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, open the heart a little wider, squeeze those shoulder blades together. One humble warrior. 3 breaths. Back up. And then from here, shorten that stance, and then we're going to launch up to warrior three. So that means we bounce off that back leg. Balancing on the right and reaching the knuckles to the sky. Keep clasping those hands if at all possible. And if it doesn't, come to airplane hands. And step back. Release the hands. Hands come up. Hands come down. Step back. Lower down. Inhale, up dog. And exhale, down dog. Same thing, other side. Feel a couple deep sighs. Nice. Maybe even stick out your tongue. It's supposed to be very good to prevent colds, which there's plenty of going around. And lift that left leg to the sky. Three-legged dog. Bend the left knee. You can stay here, make some circles, open that hip, or drop that foot back and reach your left arm up and over for wild thing. Meet me back in our three-legged dog, and bring the left foot up, turn the right heel down, and meet me in warrior one. Well, I am definitely getting warm, which was the goal. Holding warrior one for at least 3 to 5 breaths. Check your own positioning. And then turn to warrior two. Hips turn to the side. Deep sighs. From here we drop that left hand, come into side angle. I'm putting my left hand behind the pinky toe. Again, I invited you to use a block and find that long line from ankle through hip, through shoulder, elbow, and fingertips. Open, reach that shoulder back, back, back. Come on 2, and on warrior 1. It's amazing how these poses in stillness use those big muscles and you can build up some heat. Drop the hands, lock the fingers together, open the heart, and find your humble warrior. Knuckles to the sky, drop those hips. Come on back up. Now we're going to warrior 3. So we launch with that back foot up, balancing on the left, knuckles reach toward the sky, find a focal point for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set it down. Release the hands. Warrior 1. Hands down. Snap back. Lower down. Belly to earth and stay. The decision. Okay, I committed to do a long yin practice. So as tempting as it is, like, oh, let's do that again. We're going to take a couple breaths here, belly to the earth. Deep sighs, letting it all go. And then we're going to come up on our elbows under shoulders, palms flat on the floor, and see if you can sense your heart reaching through your upper arms. You can even bring your feet to the back corners of the mat and push the tops of the feet into the mat and engage all of your legs. Squeezing the muscles, hugging bone, lifting heart. Sphinx pose. Slowly lower. Keep your legs where they are. Reach your hands off the mat. And then come up on all 10 fingers and roll all the way up for a variation of Cobra Up Dog, lifting the heart, balancing on 10 fingers, wide arms. Grab the heart openers, roll it down. Move your hands back by your ribs. We're going to come to all fours. Give your spine a little wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Move the left hand in front of your face and reach the right hand up. So we kind of did this earlier. Now we're going to dive that right hand through and place the right ear on the mat. Now this left hand can do a few different things. Some people like to reach it over your head to the top of the mat. It can stay where it was, or you can reach it straight up and bring it kind of to your lower back and even wrap it around and grab your right thigh. And sitting in this stretch, awkward position maybe, you can calm the mind and find the breath. The right hand, the palm is up. I didn't say that, but I think it becomes obvious. If you're bound, unbind this pose, yawn the arm over the head maybe, for a few breaths here. And then slide that hand back next to your face, push into it. Come back to all fours and give it a wiggle, some cat and cows again. Trust your instinctual body, that animal body. Place the right hand under your face, reach the left hand up. Oh, big yawn, stretch. And then let that left hand dive through. Left ear comes right next to that hand. palm up, and then you get to decide this right hand can go over the head long, or maybe it wants to reach up to the lower back, and then slide those forefingers around to hook your thigh. It helps to keep rolling that right shoulder back. And then again, bring that attention to the breath, just like at the beginning where I said, count your breaths and then meet the inhale to the exhale again. See if you can slowly start lengthening them again as we slow down. With these poses, we're holding big shoulder opener. And then if you're bound, we're going to unbind it, reach that hand up and over. A few breaths here. And then slide that hand back by the face, push into the palm, and meet me back in all fours. And find that spinal undulation. Now, from here, we're going to reach the right foot back, but then we're going to bring that right knee to the right wrist, and then we're going to bring the shin maybe parallel with the front of the mat, maybe at some variation angle, but our back leg slowly reaches back as we come into a pigeon pose. Then you can walk your hands out, kind of like we did with that, all 10 fingers. Off the mat, lift the heart. Of course, you can always put a block under your hip or a pillow here. Using the props to find better positioning. The left leg is long on the mat, top of the leg on the mat. Inhale, look up. Exhale, walk those hands forward. Boop. And come to your forearms. Maybe again use a block or a pillow here, because I want you to find how deep your upper body can go. So maybe it's here. Maybe you can stack your hands and rest your forehead on the hands. Maybe you can bring your head all the way to the earth. Once we're there, we're going to hold this for a couple minutes. This pose can feel very intense. In a true yin class, you would often hold this for almost 5 minutes, 3 to 5. Because that gives it time to really, really open. So in this long pause, it gives us time to reflect. We're at the beginning of the year, a time a lot of people use to reflect on their lives. And remember that this life that you've created, that you have, whatever it is, you have created this. It's this practice of taking 100% responsibility for our lives. And at first that can feel really, really awkward, especially if you have the practice of blaming others, people blaming you, which leads to shame. So the blame and shame, where you're very much feeling like a victim of the weather, a victim of society, a victim of your lives. But when you notice, like, oh, I've set myself up, I have put myself in this position. Because we get to determine our reaction.
to everything in our lives. We get to decide when it snows 12 inches and we can't get out of our driveway. Do we complain all day about the weather and how we're a victim and oh my gosh? Or do we just celebrate? You get to decide to relax, like, oh my gosh, I get a day off. I'll make soup. I'll take a nap, watch a movie. We get to decide. And it's these moments of decision, of taking the responsibility, that create a life. An amazing life. Your life. I hope my rambling distracted you from this pose, but we're going to come back out of it now. Shift your weight back to your hands so that you can drag that right leg back to all fours. Maybe rock your hips side to side or wiggle the tail before we go to the other side, where we reach the left leg back. And then bring the left knee to the left wrist. Slide the right leg back. Decide the angle of this shin. Walk the hands out to the side, and we start by looking forward with that fresh eyes. Fresh look at the world. Lifting through the crown, heart open. Staying here upright a little bit longer before we get to lay it down. And then slowly walk the hands forward. And you may find one side you need to block one direction and another side a different direction. That's fine. Over years and years of doing yoga, often the sides equal out, but not always, because we all have a dominant side. So again, go ahead again, sink deeper and deeper and deeper into this pose. And maybe those words on 100% responsibility resonate with you. There's the other side of that is we are in charge of our reaction, but we don't get to decide other people's reaction. And sometimes that's a bummer. There's plenty of time, especially raising kids or having a husband where you're like, oh man, I wish they hadn't reacted that way. I wish they would have done it this way. I wish they would have said this. I wish they would have thrown the tantrum. But we only get to determine our reactions, not others. And so people call this different things. Some people call it sorting the files of like what I'm in control of, what I'm not in control of, right? Mel Robbins, who's just written a book called Let Them, she calls it, the thing she can't control is let them. Let them have their feelings. Let them have their emotions. Let them say what they're going to say, their own reaction. And then let me have my feelings and be in charge of my reaction. So her new book's Let Them, Let Me, but the Hendricks call it sorting the files. Many people have actually that poem of Lord, let me determine what, oh my, I'm messing it all up, what I can change and what others, no, I'm not even close. But hopefully you know that Lord's Prayer that I'm talking about, and let me know the difference between the two. Same thing. So maybe here, as we're holding this long pose, opening into emotions, you can find places where you're like, I just gotta let them. I gotta let them have their reaction. I can't control that. What I can control is I can walk away from that, or I can love them anyway. I can smile. you want to be in the world? Well, I probably should have used a timer, but we're gonna think that that was enough. That the sides are equal. So come on back up. Whew. Lift that heart. And then we're gonna just shift over here to the left hip and come to seated with knees up. I don't know if that wasn't a graceful transition. However, I think you got it. We're gonna do one more big hip opener. Cobbler pose, bring the soles of the feet together, drop the knees, slightly depending on your hip structure. And this is mostly hip structure of how your hips are in your hip sockets. Some people have these little bony protuberances in their hips, and they're never gonna get their hips past here because there's bones in the way of dropping their hips, whereas others, the hips are easily opened. So yes, some of it's your ligaments and some of it's your bone structure. So love yourself where you are. If you want the blocks, put them there, pillows. And then lift, 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 lift through that crown of the head. Rest your thumbs on the arches of your feet. Find that breath again. Long and slow, inhale meets exhale. And then I'll invite you to slowly drop your chest forward. Now I'm going to give you one choice, and I want you to find what works better for you. You can keep the heels really close in, or you can slide them out so you make more of a diamond shape. Either way, I want your elbows to tuck by your sides and then melt forward. So try one, try the other, see what you want to play with today. They're both going to open the hips. And then use your blocks, your hands, your arms, because again, we're going to hold this for a bit, not as long as those others. Find that breath. Let's follow the breath for 3 to 5 breaths to start in the silence. And if you notice you've gone too far in the stretch, then just back out a tiny bit so that you can stay in a stretch but in relaxation. It's a fine line. You want with every exhale to melt a little more, and at the same time, because of gravity and the weight of our body, it can feel like too much at times. Maybe you want to bring your hands into prayer hands under your forehead or over your head. You can have a block there. It would look like that. That way we get some shoulder opening with the hip opening. So we've covered a lot of different topics today in discussion. Everything from the paradox poem of the 2 ends of the stick, the circular connection, the holding, the yin and the yang, the opposites, This idea of 100% responsibility and our reactions.
An idea of what we control and what we can't. Go ahead and lift the heart and bring those hands back, 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 till you get to this long, tall spine. Bring those knees together, and let's give ourselves that hug again. Drop the head. Readjust yourself on the mat because the next pose we're going to do is on our back. So we're going to go ahead and roll on back. So often these yin poses on our back to me feel so much more supported. Just notice already, oh my gosh, the earth is supporting me. See if you can find a position here with knees up where as much of your back is pressing into the mat as possible. So figure out for yourself where your arms should be, where your knees should be, and then push as much as your back into the earth as you can. Letting the earth support you. Let's go ahead and place our heels down. And we're going to walk our feet to the edges of the mat again. So we were playing with some different things with the wide legs. Let's go up and down with wide legs. Lifting our hips and belly up. Grab the outside edges of your mat. Because your feet now are on the outside edges of the mat, grab the edges of the mat with your hands and lift through the hips and belly button. Hopefully that makes sense. And then slowly lower. And then we're going to windshield wiper the knees to the right. Allow them to stay there. Hands can now relax or find a new position. Your left leg, if you look up, you should be looking down your left hip and down your left knee because it's all lined up. Then you can put your head back down if you wanted to check that positioning. And then windshield wiper the legs the other way. Again, if you look down, it'll be hip, knee, going to the bottom of your mat. Let your hands fall where they fall. I just noticed mine wanted to be on my belly, feeling that breath at the bottom of the ribs. You can feel that diaphragm moving. It could be up to the sides. And come back up, and then we're going to do whoop, quick ones. Windshield wiper, whoop, whoop, side to side. And then we're going to reach both legs up. For legs up the wall with your imaginary wall. Bring the hands down by the hips, palms on the mat. And let's make some ankle circles, nice and gentle. And then toes pull back as if you're making footprints on the ceiling. Again, feeling the length of your spine on the mat. Staying here as if we really do have our legs up the wall, letting that blood drain back. And then we're going to bend the left knee and put your left hand on the left knee, and then slowly lower the right.
until it's all the way on the earth. Then bring the right hand to the left knee. And we're going to do the cross body twist. So we bring that left leg across the body. This left arm stretches out. And look over at that left hand. And then let the eyes close. We're going to hold this twist. But I've talked enough, so I'll let there be silence here for the twists. Let's see if you can keep bringing your mind back to some of the topics or to your breath. Not wandering off to the to-do list. Speaking kindly to your mind when it wanders off and you bring it back. Showing yourself that same loving kindness as you would others. And then let's bring that left knee up. Switching, we bring right knee up. Straighten the left leg. Stretch it out long. Squeeze the right knee into the body. And then switch hands. Left hand on right knee. Bring it across the body and to the side. Stretch out that right arm and gaze at the right hand and then let the eyes close. Coming into our final twist. So much hip opening, heart opening. Practice of coming back again and again to that observer place on the shore of the stream. Maybe you like the visual of the beach, watching the waves crash on the beach. Or maybe you like that mountaintop view, whatever works for you. One more breath here on this deep twist, and then we come back to center, both knees up. Ending with happy baby, and then Shavasana, let's go to happy baby. Your variation of happy baby. But Some of the key parts are grabbing the outsides of the feet and bringing those knees toward the shoulders. Big opening, you can rock and roll, you can push that whole the spine in again. You can stretch out through the heels, you can kick, you can pedal, you can do whatever feels right here in Happy Baby. Just like a happy baby. Side to side, whatever feels right. But like we did last class on Tuesday, maybe find that smile that Thich Nhat Hanh talked about. On the exhale, I smile. Changing the chemistry of our bodies. Then we bring our knees together, shins together, ankles together, and big toes. We bring our nose toward our knees. We wrap our arms around our shins. We squeeze tight, giving ourselves some love. Squeeze tight, 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 tight. Scrunch your toes, scrunch your face. See how tight you can be to really feel the contrast. Tighter. And then all the way into Shavasana, deep relaxation, where the arms and legs can come off the mat. And we begin on every exhale. We smile and we melt into the mat. Deeper and deeper and deeper. This is Shavasana. I'll read the poem again and we can rest. Paradox. Fear and love seldom stand shoulder to shoulder. It's rare to laugh and lie in the same breath. But strength and weakness, failure and success, faith and desolation, they are different ends of a single stick. To pick one up is to receive both poles. Stark contrasts contribute to a knowledge of the whole. What is life but growing wide and deep, so open from weeping that opposites, ambiguity, and 1,000 shades of gray can coexist without despair? So I'll mind the time, and you relax. And from this place of stillness, relaxation, and peace, bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly as we begin to bring awareness again to the breath. But also to the sacredness of this body that we are blessed with, this unique individual which you are. With your unique thoughts and dreams and purpose.
And then let us stretch those arms overhead, giving our spine that wiggle, 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 wiggle as we roll to our right side and bring our mind to thankfulness, to gratitude, to love, to deep appreciation for this precious moment. And all the other things that your mind comes to, conscious awareness of what is good. And the advanced practice, as the monks would say, is to then to be grateful for what is challenging, because that's what makes us stronger. Go ahead and push yourself up to that seated position. This time we bring our hands to our heart. As we bring these last breaths together in community, you can make some noise on the exhale, whatever sound wants to come out. We inhale and exhale. 2 more times like that. Last one. As I said, whatever sound that wants to come out. That light in me honors that in every single one of you. I thank you for showing up for your practice, for getting yourself to your mat, by taking what you learn on the mat to the rest of your life, by spreading love and kindness, and all of that. Namaste. See you in